Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Dorit and PK Kemsley spark reconciliation reports. Dorit and PK Kemsley have recently sparked rumors that the two might be reconciling. Thames reports that the two were spotted out on a dinner date in Los Angeles on Tuesday, August 12. The outlet obtained video of the two, with witnesses saying the two looked relaxed and in great spirits, marking their first one-on-one outing since Dorit filed for divorce in April. TMZ added that sources told them their split is making its slow crawl through the courts, but they still have plenty of love and passion for one another, thanks to their kids and commitment to co-parenting. And while the new season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is currently filming, TMZ further stated that the dinner wasn't on camera and PK hasn't filmed with Dorit at all this season. On May 9, 2024, Dorit and PK Kemsley posted a joint statement on Instagram to announce their separation after 9 years of marriage. "We as a couple have been subject to a lot of speculation about our marriage. We have had our struggles over the last few years and continue to work through them as two people who love each other and shared two amazing children together," Dorit and PK wrote per page 6. "To safeguard our deep friendship and maintain a harmonious environment for our children, we have made the mutual and difficult decision to take some time apart and reevaluate our relationship while we prioritize our children. We appreciate your love and support while we continue to do the work necessary throughout this journey," they concluded the message. However, fans noticed that the post was taken down a few months later. Dorit recently announced that she is releasing a new memoir titled Unburdened, Moving On, Letting Go and Putting It All on the Table, according to a Podium Entertainment. Unburdened tells Dorit's glamorous and deeply personal story, a story of transformation, resilience, and the unshakable power of self-love. For fans and new readers alike, this memoir will offer an intimate look at the woman behind the camera. A mother, a survivor, a dreamer, and a woman reclaiming her voice, the press release said. People added that the book is set to debut in the spring of 2026 and spoke with Kemsley about her motivation to write the memoir. "For years, people have seen glimpses of my life, but this book is the full story. The beauty, the heartbreak, the fear, the fight, and the strength it took to become the woman I am today," Kemsley told the outlet. "I am writing this book not just to look back, but to move forward, with determination, grace, and honesty." The spark between them wasn't a moment, it was a continuum. Every laugh, every debate, every tender exchange was fuel for the fire that had kept them at the pinnacle of their world. And as the night sky blanketed the city in darkness, the Kemsleys drove away, hand in hand, leaving behind a world that was dazzled, enchanted, and perhaps just a little envious of a love and partnership that burned brighter than any chandelier in the grandest of ballrooms. In a world where reality TV often blurs the lines between truth and illusion, Dorit and PK Kemsley stood as proof that the most dazzling spectacle of all wasn't the parties, the clothes, or the headlines. It was the spark that two people could ignite in each other, a spark that neither time nor circumstance could ever extinguish. And so the Kemsley story continued, one glamorous night at a time, one magnetic glance, one undeniable spark that left the world watching, wishing, and wondering what the next chapter would hold. The summer evening in Beverly Hills was painted in the kind of soft gold that seemed stolen from a romantic movie. Dorit Kemsley leaned against the open French doors of her home, her gaze drifting over the manicured garden. The scent of blooming jasmine hung in the air, mingling with the distant hum of the city below. It had been a long few months, events, filming, headlines, and all the quiet cracks in a marriage that nobody outside the two of them could ever fully understand. Inside, PK Kemsley paced the kitchen, his mind replaying their last disagreement. The same sharp words, the same stubborn silence afterward. But tonight, something felt different. He was tired, not of Dorit, but of the space that had grown between them. That wasn't who they were. He called out softly, "Dorit." She turned, her perfectly waved blonde hair catching the last flickers of light. "Yes." For a moment, PK hesitated. Words didn't come easily when pride was involved, and pride had always been their shared vice. "Let's get out of here. Just you and me." Her brows arched in that way that had once made him grin uncontrollably. "Out? We just finished dinner. Not like that, he said, already grabbing his jacket. Somewhere that isn't this house. Somewhere we don't have to be Dorit and PK from the TV or Dorit and PK from the tabloids. Just us. She studied him, sensing a seriousness under his playfulness. Finally, she slipped on a silk shawl and followed him out. Chapter 1. The Drive. The Bentley glided through the Beverly Hills streets, their silence thick but not uncomfortable. Dorit glanced at PK's profile, how his eyes narrowed slightly when he was concentrating, how he hummed under his breath without realizing. She remembered their early days in London, before the reality cameras, when every drive was an adventure and every conversation felt endless. "You're not telling me where we're going?" she asked. "Nope," PK said, smirking. "You'll ruin it by overanalyzing the decor and the wine list before we even get there." She rolled her eyes, but her lips curved just enough for him to notice. Chapter 2. A Different Scene. They arrived at a small, dimly lit jazz lounge on the outskirts of West Hollywood. Not one of their usual haunts with paparazzi waiting outside. This was a place where nobody cared who they were. The walls were deep mahogany, the air rich with the sound of a trumpet and the low murmur of strangers. A hostess led them to a corner table, and PK ordered champagne before Dorit could say a word. "I thought we don't like champagne after that New Year's Eve fiasco," she teased. "That was bad champagne," PK replied. "This is good champagne. The kind we had the first time we said, 'We should probably make this official.'" Dorit blinked at him. That had been years ago, in a tiny restaurant in Mayfair, when they decided to start a life together. She had been wearing a silver dress then, and PK had looked at her like she was already his wife. Chapter 3. The conversation they'd been avoiding. For a while, they listened to the band. PK tapped the table to the rhythm. Dorit's gaze softened as she watched the trumpet player close his eyes, lost in his own music. Finally, PK spoke. "You know, Dorit, I think I've been lousy at showing up for you lately." She looked at him startled. "What makes you say that?" "Because I've been too busy being right, too busy working, too busy worrying about things that don't matter as much as you do." Her throat tightened. It wasn't often PK admitted fault so plainly. "And I," she said slowly, "have been so busy trying to prove I can stand on my own that I forgot. I don't have to stand alone." There it was. The unspoken truth between them, laid bare in the dim glow of the jazz lounge. Chapter 4. The Spark. The band shifted to a softer number, the kind of slow tune that makes couples drift toward the dance floor without thinking. PK stood, holding out his hand. "Dance with me." She hesitated for half a second, then placed her hand in his. They moved together awkwardly at first, Dorit's heels catching slightly on the wooden floor, PK's steps a little too enthusiastic. But as the song went on, they found their rhythm. His hand rested at the small of her back, her head tilted toward his shoulder. It was the same sway they'd shared on their wedding night, only now it carried the weight of every fight, every makeup, every moment that had kept them together. When the song ended, PK kissed her forehead and whispered, "We're still us." She smiled. "We never stopped being us." Chapter 5. Home again. The drive back was different, lighter. PK made a joke about her tendency to redecorate every 3 months. She teased him about his dad dancing on the floor. The city lights sparkled around them, but it was the warmth in the car that mattered. Back home, Dorit paused at the door, looking at PK. "Thank you for tonight."